Hey guys, what's up? How are you? I hope that you guys are having an amazing one today. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Jarrell, and in today's video we are going to be playing with the new Danessa Myricks Beauty. This is called the Lightwork Volume 6 Freedom Palette, and it does have a shelf life of 12 months and it's made in China. It retails for $128. I purchased mine directly from the Sephora website. So a little bit about this palette: you are going to get different finishes. Apparently, from what I'm reading on the back of the palette, you are going to be able to use this one on the face, the eyes, the lips. So it's a all over face palette, and it says that it's a groundbreaking, magnetic, customizable, stackable, and collectible on the go for all over face palette. So let's go ahead and get into the palette. Here we have the outer packaging. It's really nice, big and heavy, but let's go ahead and get into it, swatches, and see what we can come up with this palette right here and how we can use it for not only our eyes but also our face and our lips, and I'm very interested in seeing that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. But before we do, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already. You can also like and comment down below, because you know that definitely helps out my channel so much. And without further ado, let's get started. So let's go ahead and get into this palette. Let me tell you that everything is nice and wrapped inside and like bubble wrapped. And here we have the little pouch that we can put all the palettes in, which is pretty amazing. If you are a working makeup artist, I think that this is a genius, just because it gets so nicely compacted into like stackables. I did see that from one of her videos on Instagram, I think. Here we have all the packaging, the box that it comes in, bubble wrap, more wrapping. We have the original box that it comes in. Here we have the top. It's nice in cover. It says Danessa Myricks Beauty Lightwork Volume 6 Freedom Palette. Here we have the little cover. More wrapping. Wow, this is so beautiful. More wrapping. Oh my goodness. So here we have the palette. Here we have the cover, which is magnetic, really nice. So you can pretty much take everything out of this palette like this and stack it on top of each other like that. And this right here has this part, and you can close it. So that is the stackable, and you have your little case that everything goes in. How cute. Okay, that is definitely very genius. I have never seen anything like this. It's very nice and playful, and it just fits perfectly. This is absolutely genius, and I'm here for it. Very, very nice. Well done. Anyways, I'm going to put everything back together the way that it was, just because I like everything to be laid down. So here we have the palette back again. You can see that we do have 3 different color stories. We have some pink and mauve tones, blues, and your really nice warm tone shades, along with some green shades. All right, so I'm going to start swatching everything. Bliss, love, rejoice, joy, dance, serenity, release, free, fluid, euphoria, unbound, empowered, proud, rise, higher, gleaming, unapologetic, nirvana. All right, I'm using my eyeshadow primer from Sigma in the shade Ignite to prime my eyelids. All right, guys, so I went ahead and changed my shirt because that's what I felt like. So here we have the Danessa Myricks palettes, and this one is the Lightwork 3, and this one is 6. I also have Volume 4 and Volume 6, so you guys can see it side by side. And this one is the Volume 5. I absolutely love the new packaging for sure, 100%. But yeah, here is a side by side. I do see some similarities here, a little bit more than in the other one, just because she tried to give us a little bit more options in the middle row by splitting it in half, but it is a completely different formula. Brought myself a little closer and you guys saw a side by side. I really do enjoy this packaging much better, like I've mentioned. Let's go ahead and start with this color story right here. All right, I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to add this a little bit on the lower lashes on the outer part and just shaping it up. I don't want it to be like super intense, so with whatever is on my brush, I'm going to try to blend it out as much as I can and just bringing it in a little bit. I'm going to use this right here, which is a brush cleaner from Sigma, just to take any pigmentation, and I can go ahead and just blend the edges. So this is a satin finish, is definitely not matte. So if you do not like that, then you're definitely not going to be liking these looks right here, because we don't have anything that is really truly matte. Now I'm going to take the brighter pink, Just going to add that a little bit more in the outer corner. I'm going to try to use as many shades, but really this palette is for like a one and done kind of situation for all of these shades. Really, you do not need to use so many shades all at once, but because I only have 2 eyes and I want to test out the formula and how they actually work together, then I'm going to use as many as I can. These two kind of like blended together, like I cannot see the difference from one color to the other. I'm going to take a little bit of this shade. It's going to add a little bit of dimension. There's really nothing else that is darker than this shade in this color story. I want to use this shade right here, which is very, very cool tone. It's like a grayish pinkish tone. I'm going to add that right here on the lid. Just want to see how it actually works. That is so pretty for a one and done with maybe just a little bit of pink on the crease. I'm going to add this one right here between these two shades, and this one does have a little bit of a bronzy pinky undertone. That looks so pretty. And using your fingers with these pigments is definitely the way to go. All right, so now I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to add it to my lower lashes. It looks fuchsia. I didn't think it was going to be that pink. I thought it was going to be a little bit more orangey like this one right here. All right, so just cleaning this brush and now taking this purpley tone white base shade with the same brush. It does have a little bit of a golden undertone as well. So it looks pretty white. It does have a lot of purple. Just going to wrap it up to meet with the other shades. This is definitely brighter than the shade that we have here. I'm going to go back to this one right here, and let me tell you, this one is like the most safe wearable kind of shade in this whole entire section. And just to balance everything out, I'm going to go back to this shade and just add it a little bit in the inner corner and just swipe it in, pretty much creating like a halo kind of eye. And this shade is going to be the shade in the center. I'm going to use a burgundy eyeliner, and this one is from Lancome, to tight line and to also add it to my waterline. I'm just creating a little bit of a wing liner. I'm going to remove a little bit of this eyeshadow in the inner corner just because I feel like it's so intense in the very inner corner. I'm just going to clean up and shape things up. So going to leave a little bit of this white base. It's going to be mostly right here in the crease instead of being so in the inner corner, just because I didn't like that, so I had to remove it. So anyways, just going back, just intensifying that. Just going back with the first brush in this shade right here, and by just removing that inner corner, it looks 1,000 times better. So I'm just going to go back to this one right here that gives us a little bit of warmness, and just defining that a little bit more in the inner part. So I absolutely love this shade much better than this one right here in the inner corner, just because it doesn't look so bright and intense. It just looks so gorgeous, and I'm going to add that again in the outer corner, just creating that halo eye. And by also adding the burgundy eyeliner, just kind of completed the look. So I am going to clean up, curl my lashes, add mascara, and show you the final look for this eye. And we're back with the undone face because we have to work on this eye right here. So let's go ahead and move on to the next section, which are the blues. So I'm going to clean these two brushes that I use. All right, now using the Rephr 01 brush, I'm going to take this shade right here and creating my shape, adding a little bit of that on my lower lashes in the outer corner, just blending it gently. Going to clean the brush. I'm going to take this shade with a Rephr 13 brush. This looks very, very intense. I'm just going to add that in the very outer corner and just blending it into the blue, adding a little bit of that on the crease, just to give us a little bit of definition. I'm being very, very light-handed with it. I'm going to go back to the first brush in the bluish shade that we use. And I'm going to pat this shadow, not to blend it out so much, just so we can see a little bit of that pigmentation. All right, remember that we can actually clean things up, so don't worry about that. All right, I'm going to take this shade right here, which is more of a purpley shade. I'm going to add that to the lid. I'm going to go back to this shade right here, the purple shade, just to add a little bit of definition right here on the crease. Going back to the first brush and just adding a little bit of that blue to blend it into. I'm going to take this turquoise shade with this little tiny baby brush. I'm going to add it to the inner corner and just bring it in towards the crease. Just picking a little bit more of that. I'm going to take this shade right here, just going to tap it all over the eyelid, just meshing those two together, and it gives it more of a iridescence kind of a blue. This one right here, which is more of a creamy texture of it, I'm going to add it to the inner part of my lower lashes, and it has more of a orangey golden undertone, and just bringing it up to the inner corner. Going to clean up a little bit. Not my best work, not my best work. I don't really like it, but we're just going to keep it like this. I'm going to add a little bit of that green on my lower lashes as well, just so they can have the same color story on the bottom. So I'm going to add a little bit of that green right on top of that shade, just because I feel like it's throwing me off. And then I'm going to add a little bit of that purple shade right here in the outer corner as well. Adding a little bit of that purple shade right here. That's intense. Right, so here is how this looks. I don't like it. I don't like it. So I'm going to take everything off, but at least you saw how they actually perform. Everything is really nice, pigmented, blendable, and all of that, but I don't like it. So let me go ahead and just remove it. All right, I'm going to prime my eyes again. Let's just not get too crazy. I actually want to try this right here by itself because it looks so beautiful. And iridescence, look at that. That is gorgeous. So I'm just going to add that all over the lid. Going to add a little bit of this blue right here with a very, very tiny brush in the outer corner, just creating a little bit of a wing. And then we can go with a bigger brush, just really defining my lash line and adding a little bit of that in the outer part of my lower lashes as well. So going back to this little tiny brush from Refer, the same shade, just going to start diffusing it, just adding it a little bit on the outer corner and just working it into the crease just a little tiny bit to give us some dimension. But I want this blue to be a little bit more like blue shades, so just mixing these two shades together and just staying more on the purple side just to bring a little bit more brightness, and going back to the main shade and just really making sure that these two meet and are blended together. I'm going to take this liner that it's really nice and blue from Laura Mercier, and this one is in the shade of Blue Marine. I'm going to tight line and also add it to my waterline. I'm going to stand it out just a little bit, smudge it on my lash line. Going back to this tiny brush right here and a little bit of that purple and blue just to smudge it. Going back to the balmy shade and just adding it to the very inner corner, making sure that we don't have any gaps. I'm going to clean up and add mascara and do a little bit of my base, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so here we have both of the looks. I actually wanted to just share with you guys what I have on my skin. Let's go ahead and continue on using this palette since we can use it all over our face. I'm going to add a little bit of blush, going into the pinky tones, this one right here. This is the BK Beauty 112 brush. I don't want to add too much pigmentation, so I'm just going to add a little bit of that to the cheeks. That looks really nice and beautiful, and you can see how it's building up the color. It's blending super nice into the skin. So for the other side, I actually want to just play with it. I'm going to add a little bit of this shade right here. Has a little bit of a pinky golden tone to it, just to add a little bit of warmth. I don't know how it's going to actually look on the skin, but let's play with it. Oh yeah, that looks really nice. I'm going to add a little bit more peachiness to it, so just grabbing a little bit of this other shade right here. That is so metallic. Okay, we're going in the wrong direction, people. All right, so that is definitely very intense, comparing it to this side right here. So I'm just going to add whatever is left on the brush on this side as well. So I'm going to add this blush right here from YSL, which is more on the orangey side. I'm going to continue using this brush. I'm going to add it to this side right here. And that gave us a little bit of a base on top of everything that we added. And look at that, that is so beautiful. All right, I'm going to finish up the lips. I'm going to add a little bit of this clear gloss to the lips. It's very sticky. And I'm going to go back to this shade right here. Just going to tap it. I am going to be linking everything down below in the description area just in case you guys are interested. But anyways, I did use the Huda Beauty Easy Blur foundation in the shade 320G Tres Leches, and I also set everything with the Huda Beauty powder in Peach Pie. I went ahead and used the YSL bronzer to bronze up my skin. I also used the YSL blush on this side right here just to give me a little bit of a base so I can add the rest of the shades from the Danessa Myricks palette. I also use a clear gloss for the lips. Here is the final look. Unfortunately, I don't think that I'm going to be able to create another look using this palette for today's video. I did wanted to use these shades right here, but overall the performance of this palette, it's amazing. Absolutely love the pigmentation, blendability, everything about it. Like the sparkles is so nice and gorgeous. The packaging, the way that you can just stack them, and is so travel friendly, especially if you are a makeup artist. I think that this is such a beautiful thing to have in your makeup kit. If you are just a regular makeup user, I don't think that this is going to be for you, to be quite frank with you guys. It does have different textures, the pigmentation, it's so beautiful. I mean, sparkle, colorful, and it's just so bold, and I absolutely love that. Unless you are into that, you are definitely not going to be using this palette much. Just like any other palette from Danessa Myricks, or at least the Lightwork collection of it, it's not going to be usable for every day. You just like to play with palettes like this once in a while, and you just like to have it for your collection, of course, you can definitely have that as well. But $128 is a lot for something that is just going to be stored and not being used. I am going to disinfect it, and I'm going to put it in my makeup kit for that one client that we might have once in a while that wants something a little bit more sparkle, more bold, you know, something a little bit more in your face, because this is definitely a statement palette to have in your makeup kit. Anyways, the performance of this palette, it's amazing, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I am super happy that I redid this look because I was so unhappy with the first look that we created. Like, what was that? What was that? But anyways, we redid it, and I am obsessed with these two looks, right? But yeah, that is it for this video on the new Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 6 palette. I hope that it was helpful for you guys. Again, it is called the Freedom palette, and yeah, it's so beautiful. I got to say, it is absolutely gorgeous, but I cannot go and pick up my kids like this, so I do have to take everything off. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your love, your time, and support. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already, and I will see you next time.